Well, I think the Knicks are going to be playing very important games in April. I think they're going to challenge for a playoff spot. I'm not sure that their bench is deep enough and experienced enough and talented enough to get them over the hump and get them into the playoffs. But I see, I think there's a solid 6 in the playoffs in the East. Orlando, Miami, Boston, Chicago, probably home court teams. I think Atlanta, Milwaukee, 5 and 6, but at least that's your top 6. I think those are playoff teams. And then it becomes, about maybe 4 or 5 teams for those last 2 spots. I think Philly's been vastly improved. I actually think they're going to make the playoffs this year. So it comes down to maybe 1 spot. And I really think that the river battle between the Nets and the Knicks is going to determine who gets that 8th spot. I don't like Indiana to make the playoffs. I'm not feeling Detroit and Cleveland and all these other teams. In Charlotte, they were a playoff team last year. I think they only got worse in the offseason. So I really think it's going to come down to the Knicks and the Nets. And I know Knicks fans don't want to hear this, but I have the Nets going from 12 wins to the playoffs this year.
Okay. Now the Knicks have
You're laughing. You're laughing at me. I'm completely sober. I'm completely sober right now.
Now you have the Knicks have Anthony Randolph. What can you tell us about Anthony Randolph?
Well, I actually can tell you a lot about Anthony Randolph. I'm a big fan of his. I've been tracking his career throughout the whole thing. A couple of years ago, there was a late season game. I believe it was against the Sacramento Kings, and he put the total game on display. Really, what he is, he's sort of a poor man's Lamar Odom. He has the body of Lamar Odom. He's a double-double guy. When he gets the time like Lamar Odom, he can handle the ball like Lamar Odom. He can be, at times, a creative playmaker like Lamar. And I'm not saying he will be as good as Lamar. I'm saying that what I see in him right now is the potential to become a player like Lamar Odom. So I think that now, I really thought the Knicks should have maybe kept David Lee, instead of chopping up that contract into Turiaf and Azubuike and Anthony Randolph. I really didn't get that. The flip side of that is, okay, if Amari and David Lee are guarding your rim, you're going to be giving up 105 points a game. So I understand that, but we'll see how it all plays out. But the bottom line is this: Anthony Randolph, if he gets with the right team that can finally sort of unlock his potential, I think the Knicks could have a future star on their hands. And to give up David Lee in that deal, Turiaf is not a big piece of the plan for the Knicks. Azubuike, he's coming back from an injury. I don't see him as a big piece of the plan for the Knicks. Anthony Randolph better be a bad player, a bad man for the New York Knicks, or that's going to be looked at as a very, very bad trade.
Now, Raymond Felton is now on the Knicks. What do you think about his game? Do you think that's a huge upgrade, or what do you think about him joining the Knicks? Can he be that playmaker?
Yes.
Because last year he didn't really run up the ball, anything like that. Can he do a run and gun type system?
Well, it remains to be seen. He was in a Larry Brown system the last couple of years, and obviously Larry is very hands-on and very micromanaging of his point guard. And Mike D'Antoni, he had Nash, so Nash is basically, a coach, a Hall of Famer on the court. You don't really need to overcoach a guy like Steve Nash. I think D'Antoni will coach Felton more than he coached Nash, but I think D'Antoni will coach Felton less than Larry Brown coached Raymond Felton. So we'll see how that plays out. But I can tell you this: Raymond Felton plays hurt. This guy, you have to literally drag him off the court if he has an injury. So the toughness, I think, will really endear himself to New York Knicks fans. He is a tough, hard-nosed player, and he's clutch. He makes big shots. He makes shots when the shot clock is winding down, when the quarter clock is winding down, when the game clock at the end of regulation is winding down. Raymond Felton can hit those shots, and he can be that guy. So I think it's a terrific ad for the New York Knicks. In this offseason, they wanted, LeBron and whoever else. Well, they got Amari Stoudemire and Raymond Felton. I'd grade them about a B on that. I think they did a solid job. I mean, they didn't hit a home run, but the Knicks are going to be vastly improved this year. And who knows, if they stay healthy and if they all buy in and they stay with the plan and feed off the home crowd, they could make the playoffs.